We're live already, goddammit! We're here. But I can't hear any of you because I muted all you fuckers. There we go.
Fucker.
There, you're unmuted now. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever the fuck you are. This is Faz Radio coming to you live.
Well, we forgot to give the producer a show topic, so there's nothing even that we're live at this point.
Okay.
I was just typing a minute ago.
It'll be a surprise for people. We have one viewer already over here because that's a subscriber. If
they should know by now that we do these every Thursday and Friday night, but they're probably distracted by the Mirandus thing.
Yes, there's a Mirandus thing going on right now.
I mean, what's more important, Faz Radio or Mirandus? Come on.
Faz Radio, 100%, because I'm here.
I concur.
And on that note, just kidding.
And we're
God, he's so mean. We're nothing but nice to him, and do you see what he does?
I cut Titan off last show. He was going on about something, and I was like, "Hold on," click, and just did the ending credits, and it was over.
He got my blood pressure up and then shut me off.
Faz controls the horizontal, the vertical, the start and the end.
Too funny.
So Betty, what do you got? What do you got lined up for us today for gaming, man?
So we got. Well, I was wanting. I thought we got our dates mixed up. I thought the playable one was this week.
It was supposed to be.
And they pushed it back to next month.
Oh, did they?
Well, so I looked. I don't know. I thought it was this week, and then they pushed it to next month, same date.
Yeah, just.
And I was like, where was the announcement? They pulled a gala and just like changed it without telling anybody.
Or they finger mushed when they originally put it out. One of the two.
One of the two. Which, I mean, to be fair, I mean they are copying gala all the way. They said so. Do that.
We got to get Old Bull to drop some F-bombs.
And ban everybody in the Discord.
So since that didn't end up panning out, we have Undead Blocks is going live with its in-game earnings next week, and so I recorded probably like an hour and 15 minutes of gameplay of it, so we can watch as much or as little of it as we want. There's a couple different game modes. My first impressions when playing it is it kind of feels like a cheaper version of like Call of Duty Zombies. Like that's I mean there's
you can't even like it's cheaper. That's giving it credit. Giving it fucking break. A cheaper version is not even close to that. This game, the gameplay blows. Like
compared to if you're gonna compare it to a AAA like Call of Duty, it sucks. But I mean more in terms of the mechanics. Like you have the machines that you can go get like speed boosts from, and you can get like double tap, which makes you reload quicker, and you can get, they have you can buy guns off the walls and stuff. But it's basically just like a wave after wave of zombies, and they get tougher and tougher to kill, and there's more of them each round. But in essence, it allows. Well, I posted an infographic of it for anyone in the Faz Discord that might have seen it. But in essence, it is, like I said, it's just like a wave zombie-based game. It's going to be completely free to play, though. So it's what they call kill to earn. So basically, you earn through just grinding the game. Killing certain zombies will give you what they're calling Z-Bucks. So you can use Z-Bucks to like upgrade your weapons. You could even use them to purchase NFTs from their in-game store. Once you acquire an NFT, whether it's a skin or a weapon NFT itself, you can then start earning gold Z-Bucks, and that is what you can then convert back into like any cryptocurrency you might want to through their platform. So the game's developed by WAGYU Games, and they have their own independent website, and it's really nice because it builds out the front end of it that makes it really easy to onboard. So you don't have to create your own wallet right away. Kind of similar to Gala in the sense of where you can just have like a Gala wallet, that's kind of stored there. So your in-game, I would say it's a little bit easier, even though the sign-up process is really simple. I mean, it's quite simply a name, like a username, email, password. So they will hold and, they'll provide custody of your earned assets until you get to the point to where you want to create a wallet and extract those into a cryptocurrency. So yeah, there's kind of two tiers of it, one for the free-to-player side, one for more of the earning side. They have mentioned, though, that there's going to be a rental aspect is going to be a major part of the game economy. So you can rent assets out to other players so that they can earn, things of that nature. Not unlike we've seen with other games. But yeah, there's one thing I like that they said, there's no limit on withdrawn earnings. So you can take out as much as you want. There's no honor system or anything of that nature. Granted, we're going to need to see what the earnings really look like because we haven't seen that deployed in any capacity yet. So I don't know.
Have they talked about syncs or anything like that with this? Like, I mean, the token itself, or is it just going to be a town star of, earn and dump, and the token value is just going to just decrease incredibly fast?
That would be, since there's no real tokenomic reports out there, that would be my guess. Is it is going to just be really inflationary really quickly.
Well, I'll let you all know because I bought a bunch of stuff, so just to see how it all works.
So granted, they with the weapons themselves, it's going to be limited to no more than 6,000 weapon NFTs will ever be sold. I think right now 3,200 have been sold, but there is no cap on skins. Skins will earn a lot less than the actual weapon NFTs themselves. So consider there's only 6,000 of them. Their next goal is trying to get to that 50,000 daily active user count. I couldn't tell you what they're at right now.
5.
Probably.
Actually, I will say there's a lot of people playing it. I've seen a lot of people playing the game and talking about it. I think they're getting a little bit of hype because of the earn that's coming up. I think in 6 days, 5 days?
Yes. Yeah.
So I think they're getting a lot of hype that's coming into it from there. So, I mean,
we'll see. The 28th earnings go live on the 28th. Yeah. I don't know. They've already built. One thing I do like is they've already built out full controller support for PS5 and Xbox. So I mean, that's just another easy thing that you're not pigeonholing into people playing on mouse and keyboard if they don't want to. But I don't know. We'll see. It's not polished. It needs to be. The map is really limited in what you can do. It's a really small arena, and it just gets really repetitive because there's not enough complexity to it yet. I would say it's just. That's what makes Call of Duty Zombies fun, is because you can pack a punch and go get the mystery box, and you can.
Yeah.
There's all those added layers that make it more than just shooting zombies, and this feels like you're just shooting zombies, which is only fun for so long, in my opinion.
I hear a little echo going on. I don't know if that's me or somebody else's every time Betty talks.
That's because, well, not because of the other window. We got to talk about that other window.
Well, I have a transition for you, because when you talk about kill to earn, one of the biggest things that I thought was awesome with Mirandus was the cemeteries, and there was a whole guild that got made that literally they were buying cemeteries because you would have to pay to revive yourself. And their whole deal was they were going to be hit for hire and go out and they would kill people, and you would have to come to them to use the cemeteries to revive yourself. They were literally going to get paid to go kill people for you, or come and use you. So it was
just
all
mercenary.
Kill to earn in the world of Mirandus.
So wait a minute. That's really interesting. How all these items were really expensive in Mirandus, and do you think that they've all lost their value now because reasons?
Well, I mean, when much like any game that's out there, if it takes too long to get out, people are going to be disenfranchised. I think when I look at Mirandus, it still has the most fanboys within Gala still. Like that's what people like the most, and I think it has to do with a few things. One is it's been built internally with Gala, and I think Mike McCarthy has a little different of an aura that comes about him when he talks. Seems to be more likable. and people are excited about the game Mirandus. So I think it still holds up for a little bit, but I mean, prices of everything are down. So
okay,
it's hard to really kind of correlate it.
So since you have, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say the question that you posed. I think a lot of that, because they're so vague with what those buildings and things do, they wanted that maximum flexibility, and it is going to drive it down when those become less relevant as times change as they're building out the game. The stables were supposed to be the big thing for the horses, and then they came out and said, oh, well, it's not that big a deal, and stables crashed again.
Right.
So, they're like slow rugging their own NFTs with the utility that they're going to be. I mean, it's just going to be a goddamn cosmetic skin by the time the game launches at this rate. That's concerning.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's with every game that Gala has right now. When you look at what they've done with the earn potential in Silk, we don't know what Townstar is going to be. What does it look like with any other game that comes out when you've spent $1,000, $2,000, $10,000, $500,000 on some of these NFTs? So
I really hope they come through with something, either tremendous utility or commensurate earnings. Faz and I have beat this stick to the death, and I'm always the
you beat
beater.
The stick to the death, huh?
Yeah, I'm the beater. He's the taker, because I say, it's one of those. Shush it, Nate. I didn't know how else to say it. I am just ridiculously passionate about that community getting screwed, because the implication of a $2,500 item or a $5,000 item, it implies that you're going to get a ridiculous amount of utility and or return on that asset.
Well, wait a minute. Betty, didn't you say that there's some skins and stuff in standard games that cost a lot of money?
Yes, that is, yeah.
And I mean, what kind of prices are we? Similar prices?
No, I mean, like, I think, for example, like, one of the most expensive CSGO skins you could get is, I don't know, maybe $1,500, $1,000, somewhere in that range.
And that's just for cred. That's just for show, right?
It's more or less, I mean...
But that's with a game that has how many hundreds of thousands of players? Let's say...
Oh, millions. Millions of
players.
Like, millions of players that have been playing it for 10 plus years. And so
I just want to throw that out, that there are expensive non-NFTs out there.
Yeah, I mean, you're comparing apples and oranges, man. Like, it's not. You're talking about games that aren't even playable, half of them, or more than half of them. 99% of them aren't even playable, and they're pre-selling stuff at thousands of dollars. They're not all going to be
thousands.
Hundreds. Look, I've spent hundreds of thousands. I've spent millions of dollars on NFTs. Okay. I know for a fact I am not going to get that money back. Okay. Like, I basically have already flushed that thing down the toilet. I understand. It's gone. Okay. There's no way it's going to happen at all. Like, I shouldn't say no. There's possibilities. But in all reality, with the way they're going and the talk of, they hate the ROI talk. Well, I didn't buy a $500,000 planet because I was like, excited to be on that planet. I mean, I would have just bought a regular planet. I'm excited for the game, but shit, I could have done a lot of other things. So it's just crazy. But
I just wanted to throw that out there. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not anywhere near the amount, and they're upfront about it, and they tell you right off the bat it's not going to do anything. This is just a skin for your enjoyment to look at. Whereas they've promised, hey, you're going to be able to craft out of these buildings. You're going to be able to buy, like the example given, hey, buy the cemetery. People are going to die. They're going to need to get resurrected. Wink, wink. And there's a Materium token in the game. Wink, wink. And then everybody goes out and spends, $18,000 on these things. Now they come back and go, yeah, so we decided we're not going to do that anymore. And they wonder why people are pissed.
Well, let's. I think we bash on that stuff a lot. I think it gets tiresome. What the Mirandus stuff's going on right now. So, what are some of the things that have been talked about in the Mirandus fireside chat?
Titan's doing his thing.
I didn't shake it just for you.
Well, when you do shake it, be sure to turn your back. Okay. All right. So let's see what's in that Mirandus thing. So in our other window, I see in real life awards for playtest possible. The functional buildings in this playtest are tents. We will have one large building people can go inside. Let's see.
One large building. What do you mean? We could go inside that citadel.
Maybe they'll have something else. The rewards will be for just participating in the playtest. They don't want the background to be just quote evil. I don't know what that means. They're let's see. Oh, she got in late, so she started from the beginning. They're gonna release the final tech test with if Tavern Games next week. When there's Tavern Games.
The full playtest release on Tavern Games is what she was saying.
Right. And so it says they're going to grant you free coppers based on the items you have. So that sounds like in-game gambling money.
I really hope there's more to it than just the Tavern Games because
they're developing more Tavern Games. I'm just reading from a breakdown. An experienced dev is working on a card game mini game from Zynga. New control scheme for Tavern Games. New control scheme. What about the old one? Have we even played it?
Yes, and it's just so simple.
Tavern Games are a way to use NFTs now. Huge game. They must be able to test as much as possible before release, and anyone can play just the Tavern Games. That's from the old window. I'm going to close this other window now.
So it says the servers are going to be able to host hundreds of people. So they're not running it on Jiri, it sounds like, and it sounds like they're not running it on any of the nodes. AI goblins, possible. Let's see. They're going to have harvesting, looting, and crafting for the main play test. Motion matching for players, multiple zones and multiple servers.
Okay, zones are interesting because that would seem to me that you could tie a zone to a server and maybe a zone would get full. That would kind of suck. It would be nice if you could have multiple servers go into multiple zones.
That's the way they did the TWDE, if you remember correctly. You could go to the edge of the map and jump into that next zone.
Oh, that's weird.
And that spread the people out, and that spreads the server load out too, so that everything doesn't get bogged down. There's people all over the place.
Did they give a date when the next playtest? I think it's supposed to be end of next month too. I mean, basically they're gonna have, what do they got? Walking Dead, Mirandus.
Townstar
should be, although I'm hearing a lot of weird stuff about Townstar. Their Godot stuff. Godot.
It's French.
Godot, man. Parlez-vous français?
I need to put a fish hook on the side of my hat. You know what?
I think one of those hats back there has a fishing hook on it.
So the comment that got posted up there, I tend to agree that I think the one thing about Mirandus that kind of gets me excited is if they're able to actually integrate real world economy with real world like play. Like the idea of Mirandus was exciting for a lot of people with the ability to actually get in and you're going to craft stuff that people are going to buy to use when they go on these, quests and whatever else you want on there. And it creates this entire economy that can then be transferred out into your actual wallet. Like that hasn't been done before. So it would be cool if that happened, but I just don't know if that's going to be.
They are going to be so ridiculously conservative with the honor system in there to keep that, because that is their pinnacle, man. If Mirandus takes a shit, they're done.
Well, I think that they're rightfully using spider tanks and other things to test any kind of honor system. So I think by the time Mirandus gets going live with any sort of system like that it's going to be a lot more well-tuned. So remember, if it's their bread and butter, they're going to experiment on their partners' games, not their own.
Well, no, I mean, that's fine. But what I'm saying is if you think they're tight on spider tanks, they're going to be ridiculously tight on Mirandus.
I disagree with that. I don't think just because they were tight on spider tanks, I think when you make an in-game economy, you have to have some sort of balance for it to work. And at first, their balance was wrong with Townstar, and then they went completely the opposite direction with spider tanks, and the balance is wrong, obviously. Any new game they put out is going to refine that even further. They're going to try to inch more toward the middle. So, no, I don't think that they're going to lock it down like the last wrong thing that they did. That shows that they didn't learn anything.
Yeah, I think that you can't get much more lockdown than spider tanks right now. So, I can't get any silk off of Geary to be able to, sell it if I wanted to. So it's 100% lockdown.
Interesting little thing. They're a little crafty, those Gala people. So crafty. I had a couple of silk that were sitting in my treasure chest. And I said, I'll mint those and get those into my wallet. It defaults to Geary chain.
Yep.
I didn't know that. I went and I checked my wallet like a half an hour later. I'm like, where the fuck's my silk? And I go back, I log back into Gala, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
Well, they do. They have always said that they wanted to use Geary chain first. The part that you have a problem with is the fact that they have a fee of $10 minimum, which means.
But that's my point. They didn't ask me if I wanted to mint it to Jerry or to ETH.
No, they don't.
They just automatic. I didn't say they had to. I just think that's kind of shitty. They should have given me the option.
Shady doesn't work well with finance. Like that's a bad combination, I think.
Yeah, when you're not upfront with exactly what's going to happen with things, and it's just kind of like, hey, this is what's happening. Especially when there's this many problems. I know I'm not the only one having problems. Like being able to, I can't bridge ETH to the Geary chain right now, and I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people having it. So where's the communication? Like, hey, there's some issues going on. We're working on it. We're seeing this, and this. When you're talking about people's assets that they've earned and or have bought through your platform, you're in control of this. Like, you need to let me know. Like, the communication is not the best. So pretty well.
I've spent probably the last 15 minutes ripping on it, but I do agree to kind of circle back a little bit in that conversation. Mirandus is their best opportunity to shine. And I don't mind them taking 2-3 more years to do it, as long as it's right when it comes out. And they keep what they've envisioned straight. So McCarthy, I know, is like the straight and narrow guy, and he does whatever the fuck he wants, which is good. I hope that continues. I hope that he doesn't have to bow to some pressure. And I hope they don't trump the elves and trump some of the buildings and stupid stuff like that that's really going to do those things. But this could be the game changer that they've talked about since day one, if they really put it out like that.
Yeah, definitely.
I personally don't think that they're going to put something out that's not going to make them money. I mean, if it's going to turn everybody off, then it's a failed business proposition. So they maybe they're searching for the right thing to do, but it's inevitable. They better come up with something that works, or it will just fail.
It'll work. I have no doubt it'll work. The way that it works is where the big question mark is. Is it going to be, one of those things where you've had all these times to practice with Echoes of Empire, with TWDE, with Spider Tanks, with Townstar, and do you still launch and the economy turns out to be shit? or oh by the ways at the last minute. I'm really hoping that they don't do that.
You have oh by the ways with regular live games with economies. They change shit all the time. They're like, oh, we got to change the price of eggs because this is not very balanced. People are farming eggs too much and getting too many resources in this other area. So you see that shit like every few weeks or every month with other online games.
There's nothing wrong with that, but you're not paying $5,000 for an item that they decide to oh by the way you. Yes, it does.
No, whether in fact they're more likely to do it if you've paid $5,000 for an NFT, not less.
Wow. New playtest, it says for Mirandus will have death, and it says it's not even close to how good the final game is.
Well, they're managing expectations. It means it's not finished. They don't want you to get turned off by the lack of, by bad graphics or something like that.
Your inventories will update, drag and drop onto your grid, and you'll have a visual mesh of other players.
I mean, I'm interested in the playtest. Each playtest has been better than the last. I do know, talking with McCarthy, the amount of work that goes into it. So there's a ton of, this is his the Sistine Chapel, right? This is what he's trying to build. He's trying to make something amazing. So I know he's putting the effort in. I just hope he's getting the support that he needs. So
I think he's probably one of the only people that can stand up to Eric.
From what I understand, nobody can.
I think McCarthy's got the best opportunity to, because a lot hangs in the balance, and I think Eric knows that.
Yeah, he definitely probably has the ability to strong arm a few things if he wanted to.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. He has the most ability.
But McCarthy's not that guy either. He's such a nice person. Like he wants to create a great product, and he's just going to do what he can, the best he can to do that. So
I've watched his AMAs before, and he is, how do I want to put this? He is the most community-centric guy that I've had an opportunity to watch. He literally listens, and when somebody comes up with a good idea, I've watched him write shit down.
Yeah.
Nobody else has done that.
Okay, wait a minute.
One person.
Wait a minute. So what's the difference between Gala Games taking a suggestion off of Faz Radio? We might say something and then you see it appearing in Gala Games, and Mike McCarthy listening to a suggestion and writing it down. Isn't that the same thing?
Did McCarthy give the guy credit or the person credit that he wrote it down from?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
Because
I never circled back.
I think because that's the thing that I don't know on the McCarthy side, but I know that I feel like that I've seen Gala not give credit.
If McCarthy were to give credit, then I would give credit to Titan's assertion there. But Titans complained bitterly at the fact that we have suggested some things and then Gala just does it like 3 weeks later.
Yeah, there's been 5 or 6 things that we've talked about on here that magically just show up at Gala like a few weeks later, and we're like,
Yeah.
I mean, they could also be obvious things because you can see other people's problems more than your own. Not you personally, but you as regular people can see other people's problems more than your own. So it's probably pretty obvious what they're lacking in, and we're able to pick up on that and tell people about it.
Yeah, I've had some personal experiences with some of that stuff as well. So, yeah, let's stay on Mirandus. What else is coming out? Did we hit all those bullet points?
They care a lot that hundreds of players can spill across a hill chasing a monster.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah,
so that's their game engine capability, that they can have motion on 100 people chasing a monster all in the same window without a crash is basically what they're trying to say, I think.
Well, I'll say I've played Battlefield 2048 with the 64 people versus 64 people lobbies.
Oh, yeah.
Even Battlefield's engine can get a little bogged down sometimes. So
okay, so there's talking about game development. There's something called level of detail that's important. If you're close up to an object, it's going to have 5 million polygons. If you're far away from it, there's right. Well, it's but whatever the case is, when you're far away, then it's going to render less polygons. So having and the rendering is going to should take place on your machine, not on any internet server.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be nice if they could implement things wisely, so they could have large people battles.
Well, because those things exist. I mean, I've played on RuneScape with a ton of people on a server, or DayZ or something like that with a ton of people on a server. Like, it works. So.
Well, you have a lot of even without worrying about the level of detail, you have a lot of interaction.
Yeah.
Let's see, looting is here. That's something. V1 of crafting is enabled in the new playtest.
It sounds like you're going to be able to do a lot.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I wonder how long have they said, Madam Producer? Have they said how long the playtest will run yet? Because, I mean, if it's a week, that's going to suck, because it sounds like there's a lot to do. Hopefully it'll run like 3 weeks.
That'd be great. I mean, just be able to play it and, do some cool stuff with it.
Well, being able to try out different things, and as you learn how it works, being able to add layers to the things that you do would be great. Okay, thank you, Madam Producer. Not yet. They haven't said how long the playtest is going to run.
When's it going to start? Did we get that part?
March.
Okay. Does that mean March 31st? If it's going to start in March, that means March 31st.
At 23:59:58.
I will say this: it'll probably be the end of March.
Yeah. No PvP in this demo. Well,
they had a lot at the end of March now.
Well, yeah, that's what you do.
Yeah. Hey.
Well, you could push off other things that they haven't pushed from month to month, but I mean, after a while, that shit becomes Byzantine. Hopefully, I'm hoping that Gala Games has some good project management over there. From what I've heard, they don't.
I think, like we talked about this last podcast, I think a lot of people have seen in getting into blockchain gaming, Web3 gaming stuff is the inside workings of what really happens with the game development, because these game developers have been so quick to put out these beta tests and alpha tests and everything else so people can see it, and people are so used to playing a polished game. How many 99% of them haven't played a beta test or an alpha test? They don't know what it's like.
Every Call of Duty, I mean, if you pre-order it, you get to play the beta.
Oh.
But even those betas are so polished.
I was going to say, those betas
well, what about... Doesn't Steam have a beta program?
Yeah, they have. It's a
like
a test or something.
But I mean, I think people's traditional gamers' perception of what a game beta is different than what the Web3 community has been providing so far, and so I think that's where the biggest. My understanding has switched a lot now. When I see a beta, I expect that game to be absolutely broken. Because I'm like, if it's in beta, it's gonna suck. Like, it's just to a degree. It's just
that's our expectations now in Web3. Is like, well, I might be able to move something around and shoot a gun somewhere. It might not go where I aim.
Well,
you know what? What is awesome is that
here it comes.
Not in beta is Nerd Nodes. They are in complete full go mode. Take your nodes, get them over to Nerd Node, $25 per month per node. They will take care of it all for you, and that stuff's not going to break. If it does, if they push that little button and break something on their end, they're going to make sure that you get the tokens you were supposed to get. That is unheard of, unprecedented, and fucking awesome, if you ask me. Go to nerdnode.io, quick, easy, fast onboarding. Any questions? It's handled lickety-split. Go to nerdnode.io. Get your nodes running so that you can concentrate on playing this Mirandus playtest and not worry about whether you're collecting those tokens.
Boom. By the way, magically delicious instigator. I just read your deal. What was the stereo? It was magically delicious. Lucky Charms.
Yeah.
It was Lucky Charms. My kids had the box out when I was making them dinner, so that's what had that stuck in my head.
Are you making Lucky Charms for your kids' dinner?
No, I was making tacos for them, but they had left the breakfast cereal sitting out since this morning.
Still tacos with Lucky Charms?
Ooh.
Now, that would be interesting. Put Lucky Charms in a taco.
And then fry it?
You know, the weirdest thing, there was like in the summertime, we're like that house, right? All the kids in the neighborhood come to our house. And this girl who comes over to visit her family a couple of doors down, they're here like all summer long. And she's, I don't know, 9, 10 years old, and we're sitting there and I'm feeding everybody lunch, right? So I got these hot dogs. And so I'm feeding everybody hot dogs, and I'm like, okay, here, ketchup, mustard, who needs something else? And she looks over and she goes, ranch. Oh. I said, no, we're having hot dogs. And she goes, no, I want ranch on my hot dog. And I'm like, get the hell out of here. You do not eat ranch dressing on a hot dog. That's disgusting.
You go home. You go home now.
Yeah, right. So she's like, no, it's delicious. Try it. I'm like, oh, son of a bitch, right? So I have my ketchup and my mustard on mine, and I pour some ranch on there, and I ate it. Holy fucking shit, it's good. It is ridiculously good. It sounds horrible, but it's freaking delicious. Try it.
I have another one for you, and
I don't know about that one, man.
Do it. I'm serious.
I don't know about that one.
Mr. Titan might remember this. Long time ago, when both him and I were in the military, we went to we were in Washington D.C. and there's this diner I used to go to called Bob and Edith's Diner.
I remember Bob and Edith.
And they wouldn't recommend it, but it's not that I recommend, but somehow. They would serve French fries, and they'd serve mayonnaise with French fries. And so I wound up finding out that eating French fries with mayonnaise was fucking awesome. So and ranch too. People eat French fries with ranch dressing too.
One of my buddies growing up I remember I think the first and only time I had him stay the night at my house was like we woke up in the morning, my dad was making biscuits and gravy or whatever, and we're getting there eating, and he looks at my dad and asks for mayonnaise with his biscuits and gravy. And I was like, you don't need to come back over.
Party foul.
I was like, that's a red flag if I've ever seen one in someone's character. Like, that's not okay.
Well, I mean, mayo on fries is common over in Europe everywhere. Like, ketchup, you ask for ketchup for your fries, they're like, what the fuck are you talking about ketchup on your fries? It's like mayo.
But in a different accent.
That's what I remember from when I was there, like, 20 some odd years ago, dating myself. 20 some. Was that 30? No, 20 years. 26 years.
Wow. That's pretty close. You're over the hump.
No, not that long. 24 years, sorry. My math is off. I apologize. I'm still old as shit, but whatever.
Yeah, shut the hell up. You're not as old as some people.
We should get some playtests going on so we have some people can watch some playtests going.
Yeah, let me throw
before we get into that, I do want to circle back. What was it, 2 weeks ago we talked about Elixir Games?
Playtest going, Betty, while he's circling back.
Yeah, Elixir. Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, so I went to Twitter, and I follow him, of course, and I start to dig into that. Do you notice who else is following Elixir Games? Did you guys notice that at all?
No, but I'm going to look it up right now.
You have Mr. Joel Katz. You have Lightning Labs. You have Robert Breedlove. There's a lot of very, very high-profile people, as well as Mr. Adam Back, that's following Elixir Games. My guess is they want to get Lightning integrated there. I think that is going to be a huge, huge thing. You have two of the top Bitcoiners in the world and the lab for the top layer 2 that's right in there with Elixir Games.
That's interesting. That is really interesting.
Very interesting.
That would be, that would put all the Bitcoin maxis. That would really upset them even more.
Well, yeah. So I did want to bring that back up. That's why I got up a little bit ago. I couldn't remember who exactly it was. I wanted to go look at my Twitter and see, because I was just flipping through some tweets by them, and I was like, oh yeah, this does look, getting more in depth. This does look fantastic. And then I'm like, also followed by Robert Breedlove and Lightning Labs, and I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah. I kept looking and Adam Back and everything else, and I'm like, holy shit, this is like big. Those are big names following a game company of Elixir's size. That's huge.
Ethereum has really pushed them to move this direction, right? I don't think that Bitcoin would have gone this direction had it not been for Ethereum and the utility that has been used on the Ethereum blockchain.
Well, okay, that's what all of the big rich people are actually counting on. I mean, if you start listening to what's his name, Bitcoin dude, Michael something
Saylor.
Michael Saylor makes a lot of people like him are assuming that every feature you see on all the other blockchains are going to come to Bitcoin eventually. Bitcoin is just going to be the unit of transfer for all this stuff.
No, he is not. He is not that guy.
Oh, really?
No. Saylor is a Bitcoin maxi and feels it needs just to be the original. You don't want to put. He doesn't want to have the Lightning Network, these other layers on there. He doesn't want that at all.
Oh, okay. Well, I have heard that from some people out there.
Definitely. There definitely are. Saylor's more on the Bitcoin maxi side where he's just like, nope, if you fuck with Bitcoin, you're just ruining the whole thing.
Okay, so what about that concept? Does there really need to be another blockchain for all these other features like security and DeFi and NFTs and stuff? Can it just all come to Bitcoin and it just work?
If it could, that'd be phenomenal. If you could make it so transactions are low enough, it has enough speed to handle. When you start talking about all of the things that are going to be on the blockchain, when you talk about games and you talk about if music's going to go there, just all the DeFi products that are out there.
Because if Bitcoin is not a security right now, according to the SEC, then it would not be a security no matter what else you added to it.
No, that's not true, because if you add a layer 2, like Lightning layer, and there's going to be layer 3s and layer 4s and layer 2Bs and 3Cs, and if people are able to generate items that could be classified as a security on those layers could be, you could have a security layer. You could build a layer that has all of that, because all it does is it reconciles back down to the Bitcoin. It compiles all the transactions together and sends one transaction back to the Bitcoin network instead of, as things happen. So that is the problem. You have to have enough liquidity on those layer 2s like Lightning or Liquid, so that it can transact and make all the transactions and then just send one compilation down to one block in Bitcoin to have it all reconciled.
Speaking of Bitcoin, there's a man in Massachusetts that's facing criminal charges, because he had a secret mining operation below the school.
Was it heating the school? That's the important part. If it was heating it, then it's cool. It's just a heater.
Yeah, exactly.
A really expensive heater.
I'm going to retweet it. That's funny.
Well, there's people that do that, and there's not much you can do about it if you don't catch them. I mean, once in a while you'll get a big electric bill, I guess.
Well, and you think about that at a school, right? They're just paying the bill, whatever. They don't look at it.
So I have some questions about this game here. Why are they giving you a flimsy little pistol to shoot all these dudes with?
Well, wait, what is the name of this game again? I'm sorry, I was yapping when you were loading it.
Undead Blocks.
By who?
WAGYU Games.
Like Wagyu beef.
Yeah, basically. I think this is when I think I had to go use the restroom or something right here, so I'll skip ahead. So you just start with the pistol. You can get weapons off the walls and stuff like that. So every time you get a kill, you get XP. I mean, that's kind of the in-game, like, instead of just getting points, you get XP. So, reloading, like, ammo caches are 500. You can unlock doors. There's 3 buildings. The building that's right behind me, the one on the left of me, and the one on the right of me. That blue building is the one on the right. You can unlock doors within these houses. So 3 of the houses have, like, weapons inside of them. There's, like, perks inside of them that you can go get and things like that. Really similar to, like, that Call of Duty structure of, buy the door and go to the next area and so on and so forth. So I just haven't, I was like, the pistol's still one-shot headshot, so I'll just keep running with it for a while. But
Now that's an interesting comment. I wonder if that could bring a great dynamic to the crypto side of things, having XP be able to convert into either in-game gems or tokens themselves. You could cash in your XP and take the hit on your armor in order to earn something.
Or, I mean, what I think the other part of it too is, as well, is XP is, my assumption is XP will be directly correlated to the standard Z-Bucks that you get from just playing the game. And so you kind of, when you end the game, you end with whatever XP you have. So if you're spending that in game, you're spending your theoretical earnings, you know? And so I think depending on, you know, people will try to conserve as much as possible because they want to be able to extract the game with as much value as possible. That would be my guess, but
yeah. I mean,
there's
again,
a couple.
EVIO is looking at doing the same thing, right, with their e-token. They're bringing more utility to the e-token and not just cashing it out, like to be able to purchase things and that kind of stuff soon. So I think that we'll see a lot of games doing that. But they have their own token, don't they? The dead token? Isn't it dead?
The undead token, yeah. So that's the governance token that will be used. So eventually, it's going to be similar to a DAO in the sense of, depending on the weight of undead token that you hold, you can buy it on like Uniswap and things of that nature. You'll be able to vote on, I would assume, things such as like map structure, I don't know, small governance items like that. Obviously, I doubt you'll be able to vote on the actual like economy mechanics or anything like that, but we'll see. They're trying to give people an opportunity to become more involved, and you can, I believe there's an opportunity to stake your undead token within the WAGYU platform as well.
That isn't a horrible looking gameplay. I mean, when you guys were talking about it earlier, I thought, oh boy, my expectations were pretty low. I can see what you're saying, though. Walking around and just shooting zombies after a while would get pretty boring.
Well, and the one funny thing I thought too, and granted it's so minuscule, but it's in Call of Duty. One, they're just really cheaply ripping off Call of Duty zombies. Two, the map that we're in right now is just an expanded, super cheap version of Nuketown, which is like probably the most infamous. Like the two buses in the middle that are offset with the. I was like, I got into this. I was like, oh yeah, they just no holds bar. They're directly copying what
they just wanted to get something out. You know, it's what it sounds like.
Well, and it's somewhat familiar, right? I mean, like I've played zombies on this map before. I feel like, so I mean, there's a, I don't know.
Oh,
so I did. So
yes.
Now I got an MP5 because I was like, it's time.
It's time.
Where you get ammo from though?
So those yellow boxes for 500 XP.
Oh, okay.
Recache your ammo. I mean, it is what it's so funny though because, well, so within Call of Duty, like zombies, for instance, like zombie training is just what you do. You basically just run around in circles so they all form like a single file line basically, and then you turn around every once in a while and you just shoot across the heads. You get a bunch of headshots, and you keep doing that process over and over. You'll see me start doing it here because I was like, oh, I mean that's. But Call of Duty combats that. They'll have like the Hellhounds, and they'll have, you know, zombies that run way faster than others, or, you know, will explode on impact, and things that make it so you can't just run around in a circle. Like I'm, you know, run around, shoot them till my mag's empty, and then run away again. Because it does just get repetitive and boring. You know, I do think the one cool thing is you can share in earnings with a squad. So if you're playing with other people, you know, and you guys do really well, you all benefit from that collective effort as well as your individual effort. So there is a benefit to being, you know, collaborative, working with other people in the community, things like that. So I mean, I would, you know, it'd probably be more fun if I was playing this with one of my buddies or something. Granted, I still think after 30 minutes, I'd be like, okay.
Okay, so I played. I want to refute that just a little bit because I played Left 4 Dead 2 like more times than you can imagine. That the servers are still running. And
yeah, but Left 4 Dead has so much more than this.
Yeah, they do, but if you play the same level, a lot of times you'll play the same level over and over and over again. And
I mean, I've played Town or Nocturtoten on Call of Duty 1,000 times, but because you can go pack a bunch of your weapons, you can go. There's a I think this game does have some room to be a, pretty basic. It seems like a basic browser-based, wave-style zombie shooter to me. But that doesn't mean that can't be successful, by any means. I think it has room if it can garner the right audience.
I'm just saying. Well, I was going to ask, what makes a game interesting if you're playing the same level over and over again? Just the fact that you have certain weapons, like you said. Or...
I think it's that, and well, for me and my friends, it became a thing of, you'd go to school on Monday, everyone would be talking about what their, what round they got to on zombies over the weekend, and then you'd be like, oh, okay, I need to beat that this weekend, and send a picture to everyone to show them. Granted, one thing they've done within that is they've implemented leaderboards that are going to be active across the different game modes, that are going to rotate across different types of challenges that will allow people to compete in that sort of nature. I feel like that's kind of what really brought me into it and kept me engaged. But it was because I was playing with my friends. I never played it by myself. I just usually don't play games by myself. So I don't know. We'll see.
So you can only go in certain houses, it looks like.
Yeah, and they've even said that their plans for some of the next maps are... Oh, I die again right here.
How dare you die?
Well, in the second video, that's why it went for so long, because I got to round like 12, and then I was like, okay, I'm done. Like, I've been doing this for so long now. but there's a couple other game modes, I showcase a couple of them. I don't know. One cool thing that I didn't mention about this yet is, and I don't know if Faz and Titan, you guys know this, but did you know that there is a GameStop NFT marketplace?
I did read about that, yes.
So that's actually one of the first things I saw about this, and kind of how I really first learned about it was that one of their NFTs are listed on GameStop's NFT marketplace, in addition to OpenSea and things like that. But I thought it was really interesting. That was the first time I'd seen the GameStop marketplace, but coming from a traditional gaming standpoint, and my generation of gamers was, when a new game came out, you were lining up at GameStop to be the first in line to try and get it, and hopefully the cashier wouldn't tell your mom how violent the game was, so you could still get it, right? Because you'd be going through and you'd be like, "Yeah, mom, no, it's a super chill game." They'd be like, "Yeah, this game's about terrorism and things like that." My mom's like, "Yeah, you're not getting that." But it was, GameStop was where all that happened. So the fact that I think they're breaking into this industry and, supporting projects, it is easier for people to grasp, or at least people in my shoes.
Where are these people coming from? It's like you just turn around and that they're all just there.
So there's like those blue things right there on the side. I don't know if you just saw. There's kind of like holes in the fences and stuff that you just they just spawn through, basically.
So this one is one of them's carrying a suitcase.
So this one is like it shows a speed run. How fast can I kill 100 zombies? And so I'd assume this is where a lot of the competition part will come in. Like, there'll be people that will figure out speedrun strats and figure out little head glitch spots where you can stand and glitch it out. And I mean, that's the speedrun community is its own beast in an entirety. So I don't know. It's just repetitive. If there was more maps, if they started adding in more complexity to the gameplay, I could see it taking off.
And again, this like we talked about earlier, they will, right? It's not just going to be this the whole time. They're going to keep adding stuff to it. This is the beginning of this game. They're releasing it and putting earnings there. It'll be really interesting to see how the earnings go. What kind of syncs do they implement into this? It's new. It's just it's new to the blockchain ecosystem. See what happens. It'll be interesting.
So we'll see. I think in terms of kind of the key features, though, I've kind of touched on all of them from what I've been able to garner so far. There isn't a ton of tokenomics information out there on any of the earnings information, because I'm hoping that will be released alongside the launch of earnings on the 28th, but I would also imagine it coming a little bit down the road once they're able to test what people are able to extract. Because that's the one thing I don't know is, I mean, they're selling a very limited quantity of NFTs, and so I don't know if you've seen it, but there are a couple kind of similar to EVIO, how they do their banners. You see that up there? I'll back that up and pause it. So similar to EVIO, they kind of have like in-game banners, like in-game advertisements, like billboards and things like that, that I would assume will contribute to the player pool of what you're able to earn. Like you can see it up there in that left corner.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, EVIO does that, and I know that that's how they, fund a lot of the earnings. That's one thing I haven't. Yes, you can. They have full support for PS5 and Xbox controller, actually. So yeah, that's super nice. I tried it out. It works well. But yeah, so it's I don't know how they plan to fund the game long term. If they are doing a limited supply of NFT sales, I guess, and they've pegged Z-Bucks, or the paid version of, because there's regular Z-Bucks and then the gold Z-Bucks that you can actually extract with value. They're pegged at 10 cents.
Okay. Wait a minute. So they say that again. So there's two kinds
I talked about
of
it earlier,
tokens.
but I'll go back over it. So there's two tokens. One's more for the free-to-play player, and one's for the asset-holding players. So if you're just a regular player, you just download this game like any other game. You go to the WAGYU platform, you download it. It creates a desktop shortcut like a game would if you downloaded it from Steam. You go into the game, you log in with your WAGYU profile, email and password, and you're in. And if you have any NFTs, it will automatically pull those over from your WAGYU account. You don't have to connect your wallet to the game itself. It will do it for you. So if you just come in on the free-to-play side and start playing, you'll earn just standard Z-Bucks from playing. And you can use those to upgrade your weapons in game so they do more damage, things like that. Or you can use those at some point down the road. You can convert those Z-Bucks into an NFT. So you can become a paid player. If you're using an NFT and you kill zombies, you'll have the chance to get gold Z-Bucks. And those you can then turn into ETH or Bitcoin, or basically your choice of cryptocurrency on the WAGYU Games platform.
Wow.
And so as an asset holder as well, you'll have the ability to rent out. There's going to be a scholarship program and things of that nature. But I don't know how they plan on funding the gold Z-Bucks. And you can even see it up there, how there's two separate ones. That's the one thing I'm not sure, because gold Z-Bucks are pegged at 10 cents. And they've made that clear. So I guess I'm just not sure what that long-term ecosystem will look like.
It just gives you a way to get stuff out of the game. That's like the honor system for them. They just say, okay, you can't manipulate this. You're just getting a fixed value.
Yeah, and there's no withdrawal limits.
If you get a fixed value, you can't. It isn't. I thought the whole point is the reason you don't want a fixed value is because you could manipulate it.
So, I mean, the fixed value of the
token,
the gold Z-Buck, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's, again, it's similar to EVIO, where it's a fixed value. You get $5 in SOL for every 10,000 E you take out. So they're fixing that.
So where do they get the money to pay you that?
Sponsorships.
Advertisements. So they can only give out as much as they've been sponsored then.
They up a pool every month or two that they re-up for the pool. And sometimes the pool gets drained faster than they like, and you got to wait till the next month before you can draw out.
And they have they have a global earnings multiplier that shifts. There's a formula for it to kind of balance it so that you don't have the pool running out before it can be refilled.
Well, the point that I'm making is if it becomes obvious that they're making money off of giving you money, then that's a security.
We'll see how it works.
I don't know
so
about
weird
that.
because they don't use their own token. I wonder how it will. I mean, because yes, Solana is obviously a security.
Oh, ER Crypto says wrong. Fill us in, ER Crypto.
He's been doing the research, so he knows the security laws.
Hey, apparently everybody knows who a security is except for Ripple. Just saying. Because it's so easy to figure out what the fucking security is, because the SEC is so clear about what they say.
Oh, everything's security. Done. There you go.
I mean, dollars are securities.
That's what the SEC basically said. Everything's a security. So go with that.
Wow.
All right. On that note,
Dog's grandpa says this is 1,000 times better than any game that Gala has out today. I don't think so. I think if you've played Superior's
fun.
much better than this game. Superior's a really good game.
ER Crypto says you have to buy it thinking it will go up in value. Well, it has to meet all 4 clauses, ER Crypto. It's not just one clause. It has to meet all 4. Joel Katz actually gave a good summary of what a security was. I believe he says if it gives you rights, it's a security, but if it gives you something else, it's not. If it gives you rights or something like that, it's a security. But if it gives you... He had a tweet like that very recently.
Yeah, we can just speculate. Nobody knows. Just kind of go that
well,
route.
And they're gonna try and make things securities, make it look like a security, even if it's not.
And that just makes things all fucked up even more because after they start applying one rule to Fred, another rule to Joe, and another one to Jim, what's the fucking law?
Yeah,
I mean,
they don't care. They're extortionists. That's all they are.
All they do is they just enforce things. It's like like I said before. You go to park somewhere and you see a parking meter, or sorry, you go to park somewhere and you see a cop. You say, "Hey, can I park here?" He says, "Well, why don't you just park here and find out if it's illegal or not?"
Hester Pierce had another good tweet the other day. She bashed on this regulation by enforcement thing again and basically called out Gensler for saying, you're telling people to come in and talk about it and then you're suing them. And that's got to stop.
Why? If they're in charge, what's it matter? I mean, it's not like he's that's for all this people saying that Gensley's doing bad things. He's still in the job. Is he doing anything illegal? No, because apparently their job is just to say whatever is illegal.
I don't know how the commissioner gets elected there or appointed, or I have no idea how that works.
I thought it's appointed by the head of the SEC, but who knows?
No idea how that works. Never looked into it.
Don't really care.
So can you, Betty, since we have some new people here, can you tell them what you're playing again?
Yeah, so this is Undead Blocks. It is, if you honestly just search up Undead Blocks, you can find it very easily.
It's a free-to-play game.
It's fully free to play.
You can also look at the infographic we posted in the Faz Discord under the Forged in Crypto tab.
That will give you the best.
It'll give you a rundown.
It'll give you all the links. It'll give you everything you need to know.
Can you play it with controller?
You can. You can play it with PC, with PS5 and Xbox.
Nice. Just watching heads explode.
Yeah, this is when I turned up the
gore.
Well, no, I turned the settings. I tweaked the settings to try and make because I was like, well, my PC can obviously run this game at max settings, but the game cannot handle itself at max settings. And I was like, okay, that's pretty funny. Because I was like, why did it default my settings to like medium for everything? Like I have a 3080. It should be able to run everything just fine. And I was like, oh, okay, it's the game.
You're way better with the MP5 than you are with the handgun.
Well, MP5 is just goated.
It's different size of bullet, different stopping power.
Would it be? Aren't they both 9?
Yeah, they're both 9mm.
Okay, does one?
You're gonna get a little more
bullets than the other.
Yeah, you're gonna get.
Probably have a higher grain in the.
It just depends on what you load it with. I mean, come on, let's be real.
Okay, so is this the only game that we're looking at today? We're in about an hour now.
Yeah, this is the only one I really had that was. Because it's coming up so soon. That's why I wanted to touch on it, is just because earnings are in 5 days. I think, as soon as we're really going to want to put together some gameplay for Mirandus, there was another Champions announcement for some of their new features that they're adding into the open world. They're adding some new combat features. So
how can you collect your earnings on this game? Sorry to interrupt. That
for this game right now?
Yeah.
You can't. Earnings aren't live.
When they do you have to set up a wallet first?
So no, so you don't have to. So it automatically, actually, let me show you this instead of showing. I'm going to cut out of the gameplay, and I'm actually going to show you the WAGYU.
WAGYU very much.
Let me share this.
Titan is magically delicious.
So.
It's got so quiet. Nobody cares now. Come on. What are we talking about?
Okay.
I don't know.
So,
Betty is...
when you get to WAGYU Games, so you can create an account or just
there we go.
log in. I've just been doing it this way. You don't have to. See, you don't even have to log in with. You can choose to log in with a wallet, or you can choose to log in just by creating an account like you would with anything else, username and password. So you can. Oh, maybe not. Account connected.
And you broke it.
Oh, maybe it's because this one is logged in. Actually, I'm going to do something real quick. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for just a second. I'll figure it out.
Go in tomorrow, all your shit's gone.
Yeah, I was like, I don't really want to show any of it. Let me get logged in real quick.
Have you looked at Fury from CryptoView talked about Fury from XRPL? I just pulled it up. I don't think you've seen it. I don't think we've seen it.
I don't think I have.
It's a PvE online battle royale built on the Unreal Engine 5 and XRPL.
Oh my God, that Unreal Engine 5. There was a bunch of stuff on Twitter I was looking at about that, and they had the comparison videos, and they said you got to figure out which one is the game engine, which one is real video.
Oh, it's insane.
And it's impossible to tell the difference.
Yeah, no,
that was freaky.
It's next level. Okay, here we go. Now I can share it
in our chat, so you can pull it up if we want to pull it later.
When can I deep fake myself into that game? You can deep fake your friends in there.
So do you want to? Yeah. So this is the WAGYU platform. So you automatically get a WAGYU wallet. And within this, so anything you earn in game will automatically just be stored in here. And then at any point, if I want to swap this, I can swap those into ETH. It'll sit in this wallet, and then I can export this to my MetaMask that I have connected. So this is actually, and I actually already have mine connected. So my MetaMask is synced with my WAGYU wallet. I just created a new account for Undead Blocks specifically. But if you don't have one set up, then this wouldn't be here. It would just be sitting here until you decided to connect a wallet and then extract whatever your game earnings would be. But within here, you can view any of your NFTs that you might have. You can view the overall leaderboards. So I mean, and then from here you can download the beta. I mean, and it just downloads like a regular game. You don't, it's simple. But yeah, so it's pretty slick. It's just easy, clean cut. I mean, it keeps it pretty Web 2 in all honesty, but in terms of onboarding, I think that's a good thing.
It is, because people are going to see that and feel familiar, like you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
You need it.
If you can make it feel like Steam, people will use it.
Right.
Like, I mean, you have to use the platforms people are familiar with. And that's why, I mean, I don't necessarily fault them for, in essence, replicating on a very cheap scale what Call of Duty's done. I mean, because it's a familiarity concept. You can do it, and it can work. So,
especially if you're onboarding new people, you want to keep as much familiar as possible and not make it too damn complicated.
Exactly.
CryptoView says the swap looks like WAN-chain swap. WAN-chain swap.
Oh, WAN-chain. That's old school. We talked about that on my podcast last Friday with Crypto Mesh. That was a old school chain back in the day. It had a lot of hype to it. The WAN-chain. I didn't even know it was still available, still out there until he was talking about it again.
I thoroughly enjoyed that conversation. I listened to the whole thing without skipping through.
He's a good friend of mine, been around for a while, so he's going to be a regular. He's going to be my DGen master. He's always got some interesting insights on random stuff going on. So he's a fun guy to talk to.
Well, I mean, just the whole conversation, the flow of it, and the information was fantastic as well. Bravo on that one.
I'll have less charts up next time. I promise, Titan. So
no, that was okay. I didn't mind those. Those were quick and easy. It's the whole show, the market conditions and just watching charts. It's like, no,
hey
can't
guys,
do it.
Let's we're getting a bit long in the tooth here. I wanted to hit on the rest of our Mirandus, the live tweet from the Mirandus demo stuff today, and then we're gonna wrap up.
I'm hungry.
So our producer has. Oh, what were you saying?
I just need to know if Titan can stay a little after. I need to chat with you.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so our producer has listened to Jake's Online Gaming's Mirandus talk and come up with, and live tweeted what they're doing here for us. And so, yeah, the demo's in March. That's the last thing we were talking about. For this demo, if you have contributed in combat, then you have the right to loot something. Right to loot. First come, first serve. More leaks, sprinting, crafting, and more will use energy. Once energy is gone, you will lose health over time.
Ooh.
While in town, you can craft travel foot that can boot energy a small amount. What? But they want players to come back to tavern. You can craft travel food, okay, that can boost your energy a small amount, but they want players to come back to the tavern for a full meal. To get that health back, you're going to need to fund lodging, like tents in the playtest.
So those are the NFTs they're going to allow in then?
Apparently.
Tents.
Players can place places to sleep in the world. Weapons are a set of abilities and skill, as well as it makes them very valuable. Many choices adds depth to the economy. They're going to have some incredible stuff in the world. You're going to see very basic version 1 versions of this in the next demo. The devs played the game a lot. Rewards are for the next playtest.
What does that mean? In other words, so you're going to need your rewards to go into the next playtest? Is that what that means?
Don't know. Let's see. Okay. Apparently
in real life awards for playtest. Wow.
Okay, so let's see. 3 things to track as far as a list of rewards for the first person to do something, the most to do a thing, and that you did something at all. Okay. The first person to kill the boss monster gets a cool card for the Deck of Time. Awards will be announced in the future. You'll start with nothing, no weapons at all. No chat systems in demo, but massive plans for that. Just use Discord. In-world voice chat with AI-enhanced voices. Oh, yeah, which change your voice to represent the race you're playing is a massive goal of theirs.
That's kind of
so basically, if you're an orc, you will sound like an orc when talking. You won't even know the person's real voice. I don't know what this... Oh, game will use positional audio. So, get your stereo headset. Monsters will be able to hear you.
Wow. So this sounds extremely in depth. I'm wondering what kind of specs you're going to need to play this. I wonder if my piece of shit's going to be able to run this.
Sounds more and more like a Skyrim type. You're going to need some heavy machinery.
Okay. Beta games or alpha games tend to not be optimized, have their code optimized. So if you have a really high-end machine, you can run that. And then what they do is they go back for their beta or for their final release, and then they clean up the code. They get it all, optimized. And then your little egg beater can run it, maybe. Okay, NFT. The guy streaming. Oh, okay, wait. Guy streaming it has a feeling NFT payouts are going to be less. Okay, has a feeling. Okay, so apparently they think the NFT payouts are going to be lower. In real life, rewards for playtests. They will not have deed and building placements in this demo. Functional buildings are tents. And that's it. So that's all the things about the Mirandus playtest coming up.
all the things
that was on on-chain gaming.
I think it'll be a good one.
It sounds like it will be, yeah. I think it's going to be hard to get in.
I bet they're going to... So if there's a lot of features, I bet a number of them are going to be buggy just based on their past performance. It'll be like, wow, I can't get this reward for killing this monster, and because I can't do this, I can't progress to the next step and see all the other cool shit. So I could see that happening.
I don't know. I'm hoping that that their talk about those servers and the different areas are going to make for a good experience. That I've been hammering that for 6 months now. They have to have a good experience, even if it's like not a lot to do. Your experience while you're in there has to be epic.
Mm-hmm.
True.
I kind of agree to that. And if
I
you
hope
had a
they come through.
If they have a bad experience, you better get some sort of payout, because that would encourage people to at least test it.
Well, at this point, I don't care about payouts because there's nothing I can do with any materium that I earn anyway. I mean, later playtests, they might have something along those lines, so I'm not concerned about that. I want to see that this game is progressing, that the way that they've made it sound. And if that's the case, I'm a happy guy. I don't have to earn anything for this for it to be good. I want to see cool shit. That's what I want to see.
Okay. So, all right. So on that, because we've gone a little bit long, I'm going to end things. Is there any last words anybody would like to have?
I'm good.
No. Can't think of anything on my end for once, right?
What? On that note,